Hey guys, RC here, doing another little walkthrough of a settlement I am in the process of building. This is one I've actually gotten into a little bit because I'm doing it backwards from, I think, the normal process. This is, of course, Starlight DriveInn, and we're on the back side of the movie screen here on the main road through this area. If we take a look at the map, of course, this is the main. This is this road that runs along this inner circle off this main road through the area, rather than coming in on this access road, which is by the entrance fence over on that side. And what I've decided to do is this is going to be my main living area. They're going to be roughing it. So it's incorporating the house structure that's already here. We've got our water out here. We've got crops growing. And what I'm going to do is eventually I will pull off these broken sections of steel and I will put new steel there, or maybe a junk fence. Of course, that's out of the build area, but we'll corner in this area, and the build line is like right here, so we will end up coming in right along the build line and cutting off this area, and then probably coming up to the corner of the superstructure right there. So we'll end up blocking this entire area in and having everybody have to come out in this direction. And then what I'm thinking about doing is putting a gateway here in this opening. We may or may not pull that fencing off. I'll probably pull this corner off and try to get the fence right up to that with the gate opening into the area. We'll probably put our Trader's Depot right here, and of course this fencing is out of bounds as well. It comes right up along here, so this is pretty close to the build border. So we try to keep that out away from the main settlement out here, but our living area will mostly be in the superstructure. We've got a turret up there for some defense. Of course, we have the water purifiers going here in the center with a raised platform for our generators. Eventually I will probably wall this in and put a roof on it, but for now I just put it outside. I've left the cars for the most part. Well, let's start on this side. We just got attacked here recently. I've kind of moved this car in there, but we've left the cars and we're trying to work around the cars. And this comes right up to the build line here. That fence is out of bounds, but we're using this as kind of a fence structure. And we've got some secondary living and power in here. I have not come in and decorated this yet. I just built this and put some beds to handle, and I wanted the car kind of fitting in that corner. The car originally was on this side, but I moved it to just kind of have it fit in this dead spot right here. And I'm trying not to tear down all of these things just because they are part of the site. So we've got junk fencing right along the build line. We've got an area here that we'll be able to put a guard post on. We're incorporating the steel fence that was here before. Now I cannot get around there, so let's run around this side. Alright, so we have put some junk fencing here along with a bus that we have placed. I thought that went along well with the other bus. Now this door's open, but because we set it up this way, they can't get into our settlement area. And what I did is I glitched a piece of metal to the side of this bus to block out that, so they couldn't get in and come out the backside here. We've put a gate up against this bus. It does glitch into that bus a little bit, but my thinking would be is that I could actually cut that floor out and the wall actually was not in the way. But that, and you can see we glitched that steel in so they can't get through that way. And that forces them to come in through the gate. Now, at some point I will have to address this, and I cannot glitch all the way out here because the build line, of course, is right down here along this driveway, right about here. So probably what I will do is build a fence from here out and then up to the corner of this fence to again block them from coming in this way. And then you see I've got a second entryway here, again incorporating that. We've put a junk fence on. It has a double gate, so you can actually use that gate, but I've put the junk fence in there to make that unusable, forcing them to ingress and egress here. We've got a couple of turrets there. I rug glitched a turret to the top of the bus here, which is slightly, actually that's the bus I added, so that's in the build area, excuse me. And then of course we have laser turrets and spotlights that will be able to fire into this courtyard, and then anything coming in here or right now around the fence as well. Now, as far as building that fence here, I think that'll be fine. I may bring it all the way out at some point, but right now I've got two traps here. Well, get off of there, dog meat, dummy. I've actually taken some of the cars with the junk fences here, and I've put the cars in, and for whatever reason it pushed that car up a little bit, but oh well, we'll come in and try to fix that later. I've taken some of the cars and I've tried to incorporate them. Unfortunately they don't lock down, so I may have to end up having to incorporate some of these cars, and I don't know if those place better and don't move like the ones from in the drive-in, but that way I'm still utilizing them. I've got some gates here. I've moved another one of the vehicles here that I've basically mounted onto the back end onto the metal frame, so that gives us a little turret there, and eventually that will go down to there and close this whole area off. Now this is something I have not done before at this location, but I really like the way it looks. We've built the gateway that'll be here, so we'll have another access point. I do have some turrets up there, a turret on that side, and this is the shack with the workbench in it. So what I've done is I have actually built an access shack. I've got a ramp up to a guard platform here. I've got a couple of workbenches that I've added in here. And I might be able to put a couple of beds in here. I might put like a maybe a police desk right here and have somebody, you know, one of the guards that sits on duty here. I have my fast travel target moved in here, so this is where I appear when I fast travel here. And then I have come in and I've added in a store very similar to the one in Sanctuary. I really like the way that these work, although I don't like that. I wish I could lock that. But we have the bed, the workshop. I will decorate this at some point. I've got some lighting in it. But this will be our trader shop. Once we get somebody assigned, I've got another guard post. And naturally they can get up here and get around, so that's why I wanted to use the cars. I've put in this little wall, a security wall, to kind of as a brace to kind of keep the cars from moving. I've tried to utilize the natural trees as well, and I've tried to get the cars up as close to the little metal piece underneath this upright right there. What I've tried to do here before is I've actually tried to make like an elevated settlement where everything, the flooring was up with the top here. I will probably put a shop in here at some point. Or maybe just make that a diner area, just relive the diner days. A lot of guys will put walls here against the front like I did on this side. By moving the gate out here, I don't think I need to do that, especially with the fencing all the way around. That makes this all usable area for, shops or, stands, or, what I've even done in the past with the cars is I've used the ability to plant the little boxes. What am I talking about? If we go into resources, and you can do the planters where they come in the little boxes like that, and you can place these down between the cars like that on each side of the speakers, or you can turn them long ways and come around the cars, and that way you're not limited to just planting on dirt. We can utilize some of this concrete area. So most of my living area will be out there. I am going to put a couple of these little, that'll probably be the only one I do like this with a prefab. I just thought it looked neat and it worked well. As we run fencing out, we'll probably put some additional shops, so we have some wood or concrete structures built coming back this way to help take up some of the space between where we have to put strips of wall. And eventually we'll have this whole place enclosed, I am speculating, but I think putting all the living up there, at least to start, was kind of a novel idea. I haven't seen any videos that do that. And again, most of the attacks seem to come from either there or off to this side, so I'm not too worried about security up there, but I do want to at least get the fencing along the sides for protection. I am a little concerned on how these cars are going to work. I just thought that was kind of a weak point, and so putting the traps on the other side kind of made sense there. We've put in another little platform here with a couple of turrets mounted to some rubber tires, which is one of the things I like to do. And then this was, for me at least, that was my stroke of genius, to put something, kind of off of this starting shack to give it a little more substance, and then tie in some security with it as well. So basically I can fast travel and then run up here and start firing at any attackers on this side. Couldn't put a roof there because you can't walk up on the ladder with the roof, so that's open. That is another metal L-shaped wall that we moved in here. And I did not have it matching up exactly because that L shape is kind of a prefab piece, so I just thought, hey, they would just stick that wherever they could. I should have probably pillar glitched that into the ground a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. So that is my Starlight DriveInn, at least the start of it. And just a few changes from what you normally see, I think. And again, trying not to go too gung-ho in taking away from the base of the settlement. because a lot of guys build off of this and end up obliterating it, and you don't even see it anymore. So I think these are the neat parts of the game, these pre-standing structures, and I kind of want to leave those exposed and a focal point, not something that I build all around and kind of take away from the natural look, because let's face it, at the end of the day, there's really no way we can replicate this kind of structure in the game. So why take it away? I like to rather highlight it. But anyway, there is my Starlight drive-in, how it's starting to come together. We have put a couple of turrets up here and spotlights feeding out from the power conduits. I'm not sure how much they'll be able to actually do down into that area over there. That's going to be the job of those 3 machine guns. But these will get them when they come in through the fence or come around. And I may want to move those. And again, when I'm doing my turrets, I really like to incorporate the tires, just because I think the metal rim makes a good welding point to mount those to. Even though you're not really welding it, it looks good. And you can even pillar glitch that in with one rug and actually sink it in a little ways, and it looks really good doing that as well. So that is Starlight drive-in. I have not assigned anybody here yet. I want to get another one of the level 4 traders, but I was reading that you have to have the store built already before you assign them. So that's kind of my next thing, is to go out and find one of them to come back. So anyway, there is Starlight drive-in. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Take care.